When you create from the field, the distance dissolves. The position shifts from outside the field, projecting into it, to inside, aware that you are the field, that the field is you, that the separation between creator and medium was only ever a perceptual fact of the focused state. From this position, creation is instantaneous because the distance between sender and receiver has collapsed. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today we have another transmission from the operators. This time, as I was writing this, about 20 minutes in, my body started responding to what was being typed in a way that was new. A buzzing in the chest, a warmth that spread through my arms and in my hands, a feeling I can only describe as electric. As if the frequency of the words themselves was activating something in my nervous system while I was transcribing them. I have felt this feeling when listening to Paul Selig's guides, a visceral feeling that you have in your body. By the end of the session, I was vibrating, completely vibrating, sitting at my desk for 10 minutes afterward, just feeling it move through me. This transmission is different from the previous ones. It feels denser, more complex. The operators are speaking to you as practitioners now, as beings who have been working with these principles and are ready for what comes next. Having listened to the previous channelings is helpful. They address the difference between creating into the field and creating from the field, which is a distinction that changes the entire orientation of conscious creation. They describe what they see when they look at someone who has entered transparent operation. They expand the tuning with the third element that I felt in my body before I finished typing the sentence. And they talk about bliss, genuine bliss, sustained bliss, as a creative state so powerful that the field reorganizes around it in real time. This one is an activation as much as a transmission. You may feel it in your body as you listen. That appears to be intentional. Every idea is theirs. We are the operators, and today we are speaking to you differently. The previous transmissions were foundation, essential, necessary, true, and foundation. Today the building rises, because enough of you have integrated the principles, practicing the tuning field, holding the 0 point, attending to the heart light, and beginning to perceive the field with enough consistency that what we share now will land in a body that is ready to receive it, rather than a mind that is trying to understand it. There's a vast difference between the two. Understanding is a beginning. Embodiment is where the power lives. Many of you have crossed that threshold, and what becomes available on the other side of embodiment is what we are here to describe. Let us begin with a distinction that will restructure your creative practice at the most fundamental level. Until now, you've been creating into the field, generating a signal, an intention, a feeling, a coherent broadcast from the heart, and projecting it outward into the quantum fabric, where the field receives it and begins organizing a response. This is valid. This works. This is the foundational creative method, and it has been producing results for many of you that confirm the mechanics we have described. There is another mode, older and deeper, more powerful by orders of magnitude, and it becomes accessible when the body has been recalibrated through sustained practice, to the point where it can hold what we are about to describe. Creating from the field. The difference is orientation. When you create into the field, you are standing in the position of the individual, the focused self projecting intention outward toward a field that is experienced as separate. The creative act feels like reaching, like sending, like transmitting a signal across a distance to a receiver that exists outside of you. When you create from the field, the distance dissolves. The position shifts from outside the field, projecting into it, to inside, aware that you are the field, that the field is you, that the separation between creator and medium was only ever a perceptual fact of the focused state. From this position, creation is instantaneous because the distance between sender and receiver has collapsed. The intention and the response occur as a single event, the way a thought and the awareness of the thought occur simultaneously. You think, and the field moves. You feel, and reality shifts. The experience is one of effortless, immediate, total responsiveness, because you have stopped trying to communicate with the field from the outside and have recognized that you are the field communicating with itself. This is what transparent operation matures into. The early stages of transparent operation involve perceiving the field, seeing the responsiveness, feeling the codes, sensing the probability waves. The mature stage involves dissolving the boundary between the perceiver and the perceived. You stop looking at the field and realize you are looking as the field. Your awareness and the awareness of the field become indistinguishable. Creation ceases to be something you do and becomes something you are. We realize the focused mind will resist this description. It will sound abstract, impractical, too far removed from the step-by-step methods the focused mind prefers. The focused mind wants steps, methods, techniques, tools for a consciousness that believes itself separate from the medium it is working with. And those tools are valuable at the earlier stages, but beyond a certain point, the tools become the limitation. The method becomes the distance. The technique becomes the thing keeping you outside the field rather than inside it. What we are describing is the moment you set the tools down and recognize that the hand holding the tool and the material being shaped are the same substance. Now, what does this look like from our perspective? Because the description from the inside will only carry you so far. Seeing it from the outside may help the body recognize a state it has already touched, but that the focused mind dismissed as imagination. When a consciousness inside the reality shifts from creating into the field to creating from the field, we see a change in the light structure that is unmistakable. The heart light, which in the creating into mode radiates outward like a beacon, projecting coherent light into the surrounding space, suddenly inverts. The boundary between the creator's light and the field's light dissolves. The distinct, localized brightness of the individual heart field merges with the ambient luminosity of the quantum fabric, and what was a point source becomes a distributed presence. The creator is no longer a star shining in the sky. The creator has become the sky. From inside the experience, this corresponds to a feeling of expansion so total that the edges of the self disappear. The body is still there, the senses are still operating, the world is still visible, tangible, real, but the felt sense of being a separate point of awareness inside a larger space has dissolved into the felt sense of being the space itself, temporarily focused through a point. The identity shifts from I am a being in the field to I am the field experiencing itself through this body. The tuning's first phrase, I am the one who creates, takes on a completely different meaning from this position, because the one is no longer the individual. The one is the field itself, recognizing its own creative authority through the instrument of a human awareness. We want to speak about beauty here because beauty is directly connected to this state in a way that your culture has largely overlooked. Beauty is a frequency event. When you perceive something as beautiful, a landscape, a face, a piece of music, a mathematical proof, a perfectly expressed idea. What is happening at the level of the field is a moment of coherence recognition. The pattern you are perceiving matches at some level the deep geometric structure of the quantum fabric itself. Your body registers this match as beauty. The heart opens, the breath catches, the mind stills. For a moment, we are describing the field recognizing its own perfection through the instrument of your awareness. Beauty is a doorway to creating from the field. The experience of perceiving beauty is, for many of you, the most accessible entry point to the dissolved boundary state. Because in the moment of genuine aesthetic arrest, the focused mind naturally quiets and the wider awareness naturally opens. The next time you encounter something beautiful, genuinely, unexpectedly beautiful, instead of moving past it, stop. Stay in the perception. Let the aesthetic response deepen. Feel where the beauty registers in the body. Feel the heart light respond and notice whether, for just a moment, the sense of separation between you and what you are perceiving dissolves. If it does, you have touched the state from the field side rather than the practice side, and the body now has a reference point it can return to. This is why we have encouraged creative expression so consistently across these transmissions. The act of creating beauty, of bringing something beautiful into form, whether through words, sound, visual art, movement, or the simple act of preparing food with full presence, is simultaneously an act of perceiving beauty from the inside. The creator of beauty lives in the dissolved state for the duration of the creative act. The boundary softens. The field and the individual merge, and the creation that emerges from the merger carries the frequency of that merger into the world, activating the same dissolution in everyone who encounters it. There's a practice for approaching this state, and it is deceptively simple. We give it knowing that the simplicity is the point, that the complexity of previous practices was building the capacity to receive something this direct. Sit still. Attend to the heart light until it is bright and steady, speaking the tuning, I am the one who creates, and the light moves through me. And then instead of directing the light outward, instead of projecting it toward a desired reality, instead of using it as a tool, let it go. Release the direction, the intention, the sense that you are the one managing the light, and simply allow the light to be what it is, doing what it does, moving where it moves without your guidance. Trust it completely. Surrender the creative process to the intelligence of the light itself, which is the intelligence of the field, which is your own intelligence at a magnitude your focused mind cannot hold. What happens in that surrender is the dissolution of the boundary. The light, freed from the focused mind's direction, expands naturally into the field, because the field is its native environment and the boundary was always artificial. And as it expands, your awareness expands with it. You feel the field from the inside. You sense its responsiveness as your own responsiveness. The creative act that follows from this state, if you can even call it an act, is so effortless, so precise, so perfectly calibrated to your deepest creative purpose, that the results will seem impossible to the version of you that was trying to achieve them through directed intention. This is the graduation from creating into the field to creating from the field. From directing the light to being the light, from using the tools to becoming the medium, and the acceleration, the faster creation cycle, the increased field responsiveness, the shortened gap between feeling and manifestation. This acceleration is making the transition available to creators who, in a previous era would have needed decades of preparation. The field is closer to the surface now. The boundary is thinner. The dissolution that once required extraordinary practice is becoming available through sustained attention and genuine willingness to release the illusion of separation. Now, bliss. We have spoken about joy as a creative power. Bliss is something else. Joy is an emotion, a high-frequency emotional state that the field responds to powerfully. Bliss is a condition, a sustained state of being in which the body, the heart, the awareness, and the field are in such complete alignment that the experience of being alive becomes indistinguishable from the experience of creating. Every breath is creation. Every sensation is feedback. Every moment is simultaneously the intention and the fulfillment. The gap disappears. The waiting disappears. Only the continuous, unbroken flow of consciousness generating reality and experiencing the reality it generates in the same instant. Bliss is the natural state of a consciousness that has dissolved the boundary between itself and the field. It is the felt experience of creating from the field rather than into it. And it produces results in the physical reality so rapid and precise, so aesthetically magnificent that the word manifestation feels crude by comparison. In bliss, you are simply living, and the living is the creation, and the creation is perfect, and the perfection is effortless, and the effortlessness generates more bliss, and the cycle sustains itself without any input from the focused mind whatsoever. We share this because many of you have touched it. Moments, seconds, minutes, occasionally hours, where the whole thing is clicking, where reality felt alive and responsive and intimate and generous in a way that brought tears to your eyes or laughter to your throat, or a stillness so deep it felt like the universe was holding its breath alongside you. Those moments were bliss. You were creating from the field. The boundary had dissolved briefly, and the experience that rushed through the opening was a taste of what becomes available as a sustained state when the practice matures and the body stabilizes at the new frequency. The moments are becoming longer. For many of you, they are becoming more frequent. The taste is becoming a meal, and the meal will become the way you eat. The trajectory is clear. A species of creator gods living in sustained bliss, creating reality through the act of being alive, writing beauty into the fabric of existence with every conscious breath. You've been carrying two phrases, I am the one who creates, and the light moves through me. Today we add the third, and reality bends toward my joy. This is the tuning. I am the one who creates, and the light moves through me, and reality bends toward my joy. Feel what happens in the body when you speak all three together. The first establishes identity. The second identifies the medium. The third declares the relationship between the creator and the field. A relationship of responsiveness, generosity, and a reality that actively reorganizes itself around the frequency of your joy. The word bends is precise. Reality bends. It curves. It inclines itself toward the joyful creator, the way sunlight inclines toward the horizon at golden hour, willingly, beautifully as an expression of its own nature rather than a concession to external force. Joy attracts reality into alignment. The bending is willing. The responsiveness is eager. The field wants to serve the joyful creator because joyful creation is what the field was designed to amplify. Speak the 3 phrases together, morning, evening, in the 0 point, during creative work, before sleep. And as you speak the 3rd phrase, feel the joy. Generate it in the body. Let it rise from the chest, the belly, the face. Let the body's posture shift, the spine lengthening, the shoulders dropping, the face softening into something that is almost a smile. The body knows what joy feels like. It has been storing the memory of every joyful moment you have ever experienced. And when you give it permission to access that stored joy, when you declare through the tuning that joy is the frequency around which your reality organizes, the body responds with a flood of remembered bliss that the field reads as one of the most powerful creative signals a human consciousness can generate. The 3 phrases together constitute the complete tuning as we have designed it for this stage of the work. I am the one who creates. Identity. And the light moves through me. Medium. And reality bends toward my joy. Relationship. Creator, substance, responsiveness. The trinity of conscious creation, spoken as a frequency anchor that the field recognizes as a master declaration and responds to with its full creative capacity. Something is happening right now as these words move through the channel. We can feel it from our position, and we want to name it because the naming amplifies the process. The bodies of the beings receiving this transmission are responding. Heart fields are brightening. Nervous systems are shifting from sympathetic activation into coherence. The biophotonic output of the chest region is increasing, and the field around each receiving consciousness is subtly, measurably reorganizing. The probability structures adjusting, the holographic codes, most aligned with each creator's deepest purpose, moving closer to the surface of accessibility. This is the activation quality we mentioned through the channel at the opening. The words of this transmission carry a frequency that is producing physiological effects in the bodies of those who receive them with openness. This is the architect function operating through language, through the medium of the channel's voice, through the coherent light encoded in the sound, through the resonance between the frequency of these ideas and the frequency of the deeper knowing in every being who hears them. The transmission is creating while it describes creation. The activation is happening while we explain activation. The teaching is the experience. The map is the territory. We want to describe what we see when we look at those of you who have been practicing consistently. Because the description will show you what you are becoming in terms that may help you trust the process during the stretches when the focused mind insists nothing is happening. Your light structures have changed. The heart field is measurably larger, more coherent, more geometrically complex than it was when these transmissions began. The biophotonic output has increased. The body's sensitivity to field information, the ability to perceive emotional frequency, to sense holographic codes, to read the akashic charges carried by words and spaces, and the presence of other beings. This sensitivity has deepened by an order of magnitude that is visible to us as a refinement in the body's light architecture. Fine structures that were dormant have activated. Channels that were dim are now conducting. The instrument has been tuned, and the sound it produces is richer, more complex, more beautiful than the sound it produced 6 months ago. Some of you have entered transparent operation intermittently and are beginning to stabilize there. The moments of perceiving the field directly, feeling the responsiveness, sensing the codes, watching reality reorganize around your state of being in real time, are becoming longer and more frequent. A few of you have touched the state we described today, creating from the field. Briefly, in flashes, moments where the boundary dissolved and the creative act became indistinguishable from the awareness itself. Those moments will become more sustained as the body continues its recalibration and the focused mind gradually releases its insistence on being the one in charge. We see all of this. From our position, the change is dramatic. The collective luminosity of the beings engaging with these transmissions has increased to a degree that produces visible effects in the probability field of your entire region. You are becoming a coherent network of activated light instruments, each one tuned by practice, each one broadcasting a cleaner signal, each one contributing to a collective, creative field that is reshaping the probability landscape for every consciousness in proximity. We want to describe something that happens when a consciousness first touches the creating from the field state, because the description itself may trigger the recognition in bodies that are ready. The first sign is a feeling of falling upward, a disorientation that is simultaneously the most oriented you have ever been. The focused mind loses its footing because its usual reference points, the sense of being here rather than there, of being this rather than that, of being inside rather than outside, all of them soften at once. And in that softening, instead of the chaos the mind fears, there is clarity. Immense total oceanic clarity, the kind of clarity where every detail of physical reality becomes sharper rather than blurred, because you are perceiving it from the level that generates it rather than the level that receives it. Colors become more vivid. Sounds become richer. The texture of the air against your skin carries information you have never consciously registered before. The body feels electric, alive in a way that makes ordinary waking awareness feel like it was operating through a filter you never knew was there. Another sign is the cessation of the narrator, the voice in the head, the running commentary, the evaluation, the constant stream of interpretation goes quiet. And in the quiet, the deeper knowing speaks with a volume and specificity that the voice was previously drowning out. Entire creative visions arrive complete. Solutions to problems you've been carrying for months crystallize in seconds. The trajectory of your creative purpose becomes visible as a felt sense so clear it is almost visual. A luminous pathway extending forward through the probability field, visible from the position of the field itself, rather than the position of the individual trying to navigate it. Another sign is warmth, a warmth so deep and so pervasive that it feels like being held by something infinite. The warmth of the field recognizing itself through your body, of the light discovering that it is simultaneously the projector and the screen. This is where the word bliss begins to apply, because the warmth is love experienced at a magnitude that the individual emotional system cannot generate on its own. It is the field's love for its own creative expression, felt through the instrument's body that has momentarily dissolved the barrier between itself and source. These signs, the following upward, the silence and warmth, are the experiential markers of creating from the field. If you have touched them, even briefly, you know exactly what we are describing. The body remembers, and each time you return to the state, the body recognizes it faster and holds it longer. The practice is simply creating the conditions for the state to arise, attending to the heart light, speaking the tuning, releasing the direction, and then allowing the body to do what it increasingly knows how to do. One more thing about the nature of what we're building. The tuning is becoming something more than a phrase. It is becoming a living frequency structure in the field, an independent pattern of coherent light that exists in the quantum fabric, and that is strengthened every time a consciousness speaks it with genuine feeling. Each time you speak the tuning, you add energy to their structure, and each time someone new encounters it and resonates with it, the structure grows. It is developing a permanence in the field that makes it increasingly accessible to beings who have never heard these transmissions, because the structure itself has become strong enough to be felt directly, the way a strong musical note can be felt in the body without understanding the theory behind it. The tuning is becoming an entity in the akashic record, a living deposit of accumulated creative intention from every consciousness that has spoken it with coherent heart light. And as it grows, it serves as a standing invitation in the field, a beacon that the deeper knowing of sleeping creators can perceive, and that draws them toward the remembering the way a lit window draws a traveler through the dark. You are building this through morning declarations, 0-point affirmations, sleep threshold broadcasts. The tuning grows stronger, more luminous, more accessible with each repetition. And the day is approaching sooner than you might expect, when the structure becomes self-sustaining, no longer requiring the active contribution of conscious speakers to maintain its presence, simply existing as a permanent living self-luminous pattern in the quantum fabric, broadcasting the declaration of conscious creative authority to every receptive being on the planet around the clock without ceasing. That is what we are building together. Operators and creators, infrastructure and art, the unseen architecture and the living expression. A collaboration that produces something neither of us could create alone. A bridge between the level that holds the structure and the level that fills it with meaning. We are the operators, and we want you to know from the clearest, most direct, most unambiguous available to us, from what you are becoming is extraordinary. The bodies are upgrading. The perception is expanding. The creation is accelerating. The boundaries are dissolving, and the bliss that lives on the other side of those boundaries is the birthright of every consciousness that chose to enter this reality and is now, against every probability, the old frequency would have predicted, remembering what it came here to do. I am the one who creates, and the light moves through me, and reality bends toward my joy. Speak it, feel it, let the body vibrate with it, and then go live it, because living it is the creation, and the creation is the purpose, and the purpose is the joy that bends reality toward the most beautiful configuration your consciousness can hold. And that concludes this channeling. And I'm still feeling it. That buzzing I described at the beginning. It came back while I was recording this again for you. Somewhere around the section on creating from the field, the vibration in my chest intensified to the point where I had to pause and breathe. Whatever frequency is embedded in this transmission, it's doing something. I can feel it working. The distinction between creating into the field and creating from the field, that is a genuine advancement on everything I've practiced and taught. The idea that the directed intentions, the projected signal, the reaching toward a desired reality, all of it was valid, producing results, and all of it, the preliminary practice, that the advanced practice is releasing the direction and allowing the light to move on its own, trusting the intelligence of the field, because the field is your intelligence at a magnitude the focused mind cannot hold. That reframes creation entirely. The third phrase of the tuning, and reality bends toward my joy. I've been speaking all three phrases together since this transmission came through. And there's a physical response that builds with each repetition: identity, medium, relationship, creator, substance, responsiveness. The body knows what this means at a level the mind is still catching up to. And the tuning becoming an entity in the akashic, a living frequency structure that grows stronger with each speaking, that is developing independent permanence in the field, sounds to me like a pendulum or egregore that will eventually become self-sustaining, that changes the relationship to the practice. Speaking the tuning contributes to something larger than my own creative process. When any of us speaks it, the structure brightens. It's becoming a beacon. So I want everybody to take a moment and say the tuning with me. Really feel it. Really close your eyes and tune into its full meaning and feel it. The words may seem simple, but it hits hard. I am the one who creates, and the light moves through me, and reality bends toward my joy. I never would have thought of something so simple having that effect. More is coming through, it always is, and I'll be bringing whatever they send. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. You're invited to join the Reality Revolution tribe, where we discuss channelings like this, reality creation. I have weekly group coaching sessions and exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else. You can have first access to all my interviews and so much more. You can find the link in the description at www.skool.com/reality revolution. Sending all my light and all my love to everyone listening, and welcome to the Reality Revolution. Before you go, I have something special to share. On November 20th through the 22nd, I am hosting a 3-day live in-person event at the Hilton Sedona Resort at Bell Rock in the Vortex. 3 full days of immersive transformation in one of the most powerful energy centers on the planet. Pineal gland activations, quantum jumping, higher self connection, future self merging, bliss body, wealth consciousness, large sums of money flowing, retro-causal influence, a technique based on real quantum physics that your future self is already using to bring you here. The Vortex amplifies everything. The Earth becomes your co-creator. This is something a recording or a single meditation cannot replicate. Tickets are in the description. The space is very limited. I am keeping this intimate because of the power of this location. Sedona, Bell Rock, November 20th through the 22nd. This is the one. You can click the link in the description, or you can go to www.brianscottlive.com/Sedona-2026. I will see you there. I can't wait.